There's a new Avatar: The Last Airbender series coming to Netflix, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I am Melon Lord, and Melon Lord is pleased.
What's that? Oh, that? That's just the M. Night Shyamalan dumpster fire of broken dreams. Is it just me, or is it getting bigger? We talk about Avatar a lot on this channel, but I don't usually do news videos because they generally lead channels to doing 10-minute videos obsessing over the tiniest of details. Wait, but more importantly, they're not usually that substantive. They're often just talking about gossip, so when I do make them, I like to make sure that there's a lot to talk about, that there is some substance to it. And I think I've got that today. It's going to be a live action series rather than an animated one, and I would almost naturally say that I didn't want this on any level if it were not for the fact that Netflix have confirmed that DiMartino and Konietzko are on board to run the series, the original creators and writers for the series. I feel like Netflix is recognizing that if there is going to be any faith whatsoever from the fans in a live action series of Avatar, then they needed to put it back in the hands of those who ran the original show. After the PTSD ongoing nightmare that is the M. Night Shyamalan 2010 version.
There is no
M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie.
within the walls. Here we are safe. Here we are free.
My apologies. I've been informed that I was mistaken. There was no Avatar movie in 2010. We have one piece of concept art featuring Aang and Appa, which really captures the colours of the Southern Water Tribe. I really love that. But obviously we can't take the quality of the storytelling or the adaptation from a single piece of art. In the writer's official statement, they said that we want to go even deeper into the characters, story, action, and world building. Netflix is wholly dedicated to manifesting our vision for this retelling. Netflix themselves have described it as a reimagined live-action take on Avatar: The Last Airbender. This probably means that they'll be sticking pretty closely to the original source material, Book 1 Water, just in a different medium. One good thing is that Netflix is relatively good at leaving creators and writers to their own devices. They don't tend to interfere too much, which is a great thing for Avatar. Then again, they did also make the Full Metal Alchemist and Death Note movies, which are fantastic! But a fair question that is being raised by quite a number of fans is, what is going to be new here? What are they actually trying to accomplish? Because I genuinely do think that the original Avatar: The Last Airbender is pretty much the best long-form storytelling series ever. Its artistic direction, voice acting, thematic concepts, dramatic tension, characters, character arcs are all astounding in quality. Right from the first season, right from the first episode, right to the last. It's hard to imagine changing those things in a reimagining would be better, or that they would need to add anything to it. They've said that they want to go deeper into the characters, the story, the action, the world building, but I'm not quite sure what kind of form those things will take. It's possible that they could do a bit more with the world building with a bigger budget, which they would have, because they were kind of limited for the first series financially on Nickelodeon. But beyond that, it's difficult to know what this will mean. I think the characters were incredibly well developed already. I think their character arcs were so well done that they don't need to be developed on. And translating the action scenes from the animated series to the live action version is going to be pretty difficult. The last thing we want to end up with is... Now it's unlikely, given the nature of Netflix shows, that they'll get a 20-episode season, meaning they wouldn't be able to go from the Boy in the Iceberg to Siege of the North Part 2. So there are two options here. We're either going to see only part of the first season, or we're going to get... the dreaded, compacted storytelling, which is one way to plunge a dagger into my heart and pour petrol into the soul-suckingly bad, ugly, ghoulish, gremlin, demon fire that is the M. Night Shyamalan...
There is no
M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie.
within the walls. Here we are safe. Here we are free.
But most importantly, what do you think? I've got a poll over on my Twitter. I would love if you could go vote on it, follow me there. Let me know your thoughts about what you are thinking about this series. I tend to be better at responding on Twitter. I don't know why. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. One interesting that Mike and Brian have said is also somewhat implying that they want to fix the problems of the 2010 version. They've said that we can't wait to realize Aang's world as cinematically as we always imagined it to be, and with a culturally appropriate, non-whitewashed cast. Now, without getting into the politics around this stuff, I am someone who likes it when characters are faithfully adapted. But the world of Avatar is distinctly Asiatic. That was part of what made its world building so good, because at the time we didn't see many of those kinds of worlds. And it's really nice that they'll be able to stick to that idea that they had for the series. Now, if they're trying to fix the major problems with the 2010 film, and by the major problems, I mean the infinite number of problems on any possible level that you could look at that film, there is one obvious and I think pretty simple choice that they need to make. Only do half the season, or even less than that if you don't feel that you can do it justice. It is better to tell a good small-scale story than a bad large-scale story. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. It's also apparently coming in 2019. But there is another piece of Avatar news that I thought it would be good for us to discuss. There are apparently 2 YA novels coming about Avatar Kyoshi. Not a comic like we've read in the past, but a full YA book apparently called The Rise of Kyoshi. It'll probably explore her origins and her journey, which have only been vaguely touched on in the series. She lived for 230 years because of extended chi fields. She formed the Dai Li. She formed Kyoshi Island. She fought and defeated Chin the Conqueror. She was relatively utilitarian. Those sort of things. But how do you feel about this? I'm just a nerd on the internet who loves Avatar and loves his kitty. Don't I? All hail Mishka. Now, while I will always have this deep-seated love and desire for more Avatar content, whatever that may be, I do have a couple of thoughts about this in particular, and it's okay if you disagree with me. It relates to why I think that prequel stories often don't work, which I'm gonna turn into a big video essay at one point. Prequels, like this one on Kyoshi, often take a story or an event that is referenced in the main narrative and they extrapolate a whole story from that. We get a few details about Kyoshi and her life, but nothing that gives us a detailed story like we have for Aang. So what we're left with are these epic tales and mythologized moments from history. To many of us, Kyoshi is this unbelievably powerful character. Her story is so epic, and I mean that in the realist sense of the word, that we sort of have this mythologized version of her in our mind. It's like Iroh's journey to the spirit world. It's this mythologized journey that can only be captured by leaving it up to the imagination, because we all imagine that the real story, whatever that may be, must be better than whatever we can come up with. There is power in leaving things in stories to people's imagination, and I'm wondering if the story of Kyoshi may be just that, in the same way the story of Iroh's journey to the spirit world is. So I'm skeptical, but I'm excited and I will definitely read it. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Follow me over on Twitter and Facebook. I'm trying to get better at posting there. Otherwise, if you like my content, then feel free to come support me over on Patreon. We talk about Avatar. Probably going to be talking about what this will be like over the next few days quite a bit. In the meantime, stay nerdy, superheroes, and I'll see you in the future.